Hi, friends. I know this is a high stress time for a lot of people. Well, for everybody, really. Um, I want to teach you a little bit about a practice that's really helpful for me. I do have notes so that I don't miss anything important. So bear with me here. Yes, people are afraid and uncomfortable right now. That's everybody. Everybody on this planet is experiencing some sort of fear to a certain degree right now. That's our reality, okay? Our survival mechanisms are being triggered constantly over bills coming due, our children, and possible outcomes of this situation. You may or may not have support. So there's a lot of tough feelings and emotions that are coming up for people. So I just want you to know that I see you and I feel you. And I can't help but say, even though we all have different circumstances, that we're all in the same boat. So I know I'm on here always spreading love and trying to be as positive as possible. And that's just where I'm more comfortable being. But there's a lot of people they're afraid right now. And that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. So I want to ask you a question. All right? What if your emotions are invitations to be felt and released? What if? So when you try to think your way through a feeling, we often perpetuate a cycle that reinforces that feeling. Okay, so if you're feeling really negative or upset, the more you focus on that up here, the deeper it will pull you into that. And again, that's okay. It's okay to be experiencing your feelings right now. Everybody on the planet has their own individual stuff coming up. Everybody. There's not a single person who's not experiencing something. Okay? So, I want to teach you about embodiment. All right? So the first thing is that you need to validate your feelings. It's okay that you're having feelings and emotions, whatever they may be. 2 is to notice. So are you stress eating? Are you avoiding? Overthinking? Are you on edge? Okay, all of those things, there's an underlying fear that lies underneath them, okay? You may be very aware of what your feelings are, or you may just be feeling. And both of those are fair. All of it's fair. All of it's happening. So validating that it's happening and noticing that it's happening is so important right now. Okay? Because if you're at home stress eating or being a terror to everybody else in the house or stuffing your feelings down because you have to stay strong for your children, like all of that stuff, I see you and I feel you, and it's so important. It's happening and it's real. Okay, what I'm going to teach you here doesn't make those things go away, but it helps you to develop a better relationship to your feelings so that you can move through them and not be triggering your stress response over and over and over again. Okay, so number 1, we're going to validate. Number 2, you have to notice in order to be able to change anything. Okay, so and number 3, have compassion. Have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for others. Everybody is having feelings. Okay, so I mean, I'm going through feelings of all sorts of things. Like I'm not going to be able to pay my rent, but at this point there's nothing I can do about it. So doing this practice will help you to step outside of that and to deal with what you can deal with in the moment. Okay, so I hope this helps. So practicing embodiment, the first thing that you need to be aware of is presence. So We create a fear cycle by being up in here. So thinking. So you have a feeling, and say you're trying to label your feeling like you're afraid. Okay, that's fine. And then you're just on edge, and you're thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? How am I going to survive? Like everybody's survival mechanisms are being triggered right now. That's normal. We're all experiencing some form of fear. Okay, so what I invite you to do is to feel your feelings. So you can't think your way through a feeling. Remember when I said that? You're going to continue to perpetuate stress. Okay? What I'm going to teach you is helping you to get out of that stress response and to deal with what you can deal with right now. Because none of us have answers. I don't have answers as to how I'm going to pay my rent. Neither does my landlord. So, again, validate. I'm having a feeling. Things are tough. I'm upset. I'm sad. I'm scared. Okay? So here's what to do with embodiment. The first step is to be present. So that takes breath. So breathing in, and every time you have a thought, breathing into your body. Okay, so we're gonna you drop out of your head and out of those thoughts, and a lot of us are on a loop right there right now. So this may take a while, and it's okay. So breathing into your heart, and what I like to do here that I find super helpful is I close my eyes and I place my hand on my heart and I breathe into my heart. And every time I notice that I go back up into my brain, a good technique for me is to swallow and imagine saliva going down and being back into my heart. And having my hand here is helpful. So breathing in and then feeling the feeling. Okay, so I feel a lot of energy in here right now. Okay, in my solar plexus, and it feels gross. But instead of trying to go back up into here and experience those feelings as thoughts, I'm gonna give my feelings a shape and a color and a texture, maybe a temperature, whatever comes to mind. Okay, so I feel this heavy black blob. Like, it's almost like, if I could describe it, like tar-like, just sitting right in my solar plexus. And it's uncomfortable. And challenging. And clearly feeling into this without going back up to here is evoking emotion physically for me. This is a practice, okay, guys? So spending time feeling in your body where you have tension, labeling it as not a thought, but as a color, as a texture, as a shape, and breathing into it, okay? So it's hard for me to do this and instruct at the same time. So I'm gonna stop having my experience and try to come back to you and be present with you. So feeling your feeling without a label, mental label, okay? So without thinking about it. All I want you to do is give it a color, a shape, a texture, a temperature, something like that. And then breathing into it, all with your eyes closed. And then see if it wants to move. Okay, this kind of sounds hokey, but it works. Okay, so having a practice around physically feeling your feelings and allowing them to shift into your body, for me, is super helpful. This is called embodiment. Okay, this is a tool that somatic practitioners use to help move through energy in your system. Okay, it's not going to pay my bills. It's not going to solve my problems. It is going to help me be able to move throughout my day without being on high alert cortisol, like, oh my God response. All right. It's cultivating a relationship with your feelings. Noticing if it wants to move, having compassion, validating that it's there, and not trying to change it, okay? Just sitting with it, breathing into it. And quite often you'll find it wants to exit, it wants to move up, and then maybe it'll stick somewhere and it'll like, you can actually, like, I'm actually feeling a lot right in here right now. You can do a lot of movement and breathe into it. And guys, this is a practice. So like, I still experience stuff in my brain, thoughts coming up, fears coming up, all sorts of things. It's just helpful for me to be able to express how I'm feeling to myself without words, if that makes sense. So again, you have to notice in order to be able to make the shift to rewire your brain for not being in constant high red alert, because a lot of us don't have the answers. We don't have answers to be able to pay our bills, or to be able to, know how we're going to take care of our kids, or knowing when we're going to have a break, or, any of that stuff. Everybody's experiencing their own version of fear. Okay, there's even CEOs of companies and people out there who are losing billions of dollars, who I imagine if I try and put myself in their shoes, that's really fucking scary. Okay, they may be, they may not be worrying about having to pay their bills right now, but we're all experiencing this as a conscious collective. So I hope this helps. If you need any direction with this whatsoever, please reach out to me. I have a lot of time right now. Okay? And just remember that your emotions are invitations to where the work needs to be done, to things that need to be felt. Okay? To validate your feelings and not try to think your way through them. That is your brain trying to trick you into like, okay, logically, I need to deal with this. Nothing's really logical right now. Okay, I invite you to feel your feelings, to try and embody those feelings, and then to watch them move and transform, and to continue that practice until you start to feel better. Okay? I love you. Mwah. Please reach out.